It used to be when I'd go out and ride a pasture in the summer, it was nothing for me to see a coyote while I was out riding a pasture. And now I don't even see the coyotes anymore. While I'm riding, it's just the pressure from the donkey keeps the coyote out of the pastures.
Grant and Dawn Breitkreitz run Stony Creek Farm near Redwood Falls, where they graze cattle, hogs, and chickens in pastures. Coyotes are thick in southwest Minnesota, and although a predator has attacked only one of their calves, to be proactive, they brought in a donkey patrol 8 years ago.
I got the idea from a good friend of ours that they farm and ranch 3 hours north of here, and they've dealt with the timber wolf for about 30 years already in the region they live in. And they decided to combat the timber wolf with a natural way. And what they found was the donkeys. And they just saw these donkeys run a sale and went and bought them and brought them home and started picking through them, watching the donkeys, how they behaved and how they acted, and decided to sort through the ones that they thought were the best and kept them for their operation to help with the timber wolf. Here, obviously, we're not dealing with the timber wolf yet, but
we have cats, we know
have
that.
Mountain lions roaming through here on and off, and we obviously have the coyote stick his hair on a dog around here. And we first got 3 donkeys, and we unloaded them.
They were in that yard
in
over there.
In a pen over there, and we had two yard dogs at the time. One of them was pretty aggressive predator control, and the dogs had not seen the donkeys yet, and all of a sudden the dogs could see those ears, those big pointy ears sticking up, and the dogs immediately thought there was something wrong in the yard, and they started barking and running towards that yard. Those donkeys, all 3 of them lined up, nose to tail, nose to tail, nose to tail. Across that yard fence, there was no way those dogs were going to come into that pen.
He thought our dogs were going to be dead.
I figured they were going to be dead.
Grant and Dawn practice rotational grazing. Their pastures are divided into paddocks and cattle are moved from one to another. Chickens are rotated in 3 to 10 days after the cattle.
This last year we had issues with a coyote with chickens, but it was also our first year with chickens, so we will use the donkey every place we think we need it to protect our livestock. We've been blessed to have friends that foal a few donkeys every year, so we've been buying yearlings from them for a couple $100 a head.
We paid less for a donkey than you would for a good guard dog.
I mean, I've seen them chase a napkin tumbling across the pasture because they're just such a curious animal. They want to know what it is that's in their environment, and obviously if they don't like it, they run it out of their environment.
The Breitkreitz own 6 donkeys. One stays with each of the 6 groups of cattle that are rotated. But when cows are calving, donkeys have to stay outside the fence.
Those cows get really defensive and aggressive. To anything that's not supposed to be out there.
This is the only donkey that we have tamed. This is the largest one. I think she's a mammoth donkey, but Dawn tamed this one with the hopes that having one tame one would help with moving cattle, because donkeys are donkeys. They are stubborn animals, and it works to have her tame and trained. It helps with moving them. If we want the donkeys to move, we'll try to get them to move away from us. My own personal feeling is if we keep them wild, they'll act more like they should in nature and be a more aggressive predator control. And I'm not saying that taming this one made her less aggressive.
We've had instances where they'll break through the fence or something, the cattle will get out, and she has disappeared for 3-4 days. She's just off in the...
She'll go off in the woods all by herself. And
we couldn't find her, and pretty soon
all of a sudden she shows up and comes back with the cattle. But the ones that aren't tamed, they're usually always right with the cows, always with them.
Dawn and Grant discovered that their 30-year-old donkey named Jenny is drawn to the reflective lens of a camera.
She has scared a cameraman to death. You can see how she'll nuzzle up to Dawn.
Donkey kisses.
A guy was interviewing me in the middle of a pasture, and it happened to be the pasture she was in. She went around and said hi to the other people that were in the group, and then she walked right up behind the cameraman, just put her head over, his shoulder and put her lips right on his face, and he immediately froze and looked at me and said, "Am I about to die?" And I said, "No, you'll be okay, Brian."
The people that have seen that video, when they come and visit, they want to see Jenny the donkey. She's kind of got her own following,
Yeah.
don't ya? Yeah. You're adorable.
She's a big donkey, and a donkey's feet are like lightning strikes. And you can watch a cow kick you. You'll never see a donkey kick you until it's done.
They have strong jaws and really accurate feet. They can run fast.
I've ridden beside them on the four-wheeler, 35, 40 miles an hour. We have no idea what the donkeys do at night. I mean, there's times in the middle of the summer, you get in from work and late, and you're walking across the yard, and it sounds like Jurassic Park out in these pastures. It is so loud. So that tells me that the donkeys are upset by something, and then it's just chaos out there at night. And yet, we don't hear our cattle bellowing, we don't hear calves bellowing, everything stays calm. The friends that we got these from, they do a lot of stuff horseback, and they were pushing cattle through some brush and came out, and there was a donkey standing there, and they had a 160-pound dog that got too close to the donkey. The donkey grabbed it, flipped it up in the air, kicked it over her head, mounted on her horse. So that's, when we hear all that noise at night, that's about the only thing that any of us can imagine is going on.
The Bright Krites don't know what predators Mother Nature may send their way in the future. There could be more mountain lions, bobcats, even timber wolves. But they'll be no match for the cute but fierce Donkey Patrol.